Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on now. Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. I think it goes something like this. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Cause every time I turn around, there's something trying to keep me down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Whoa, can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. When I look up, don't you know, burdens knocking at my door. So won't you come and take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Oh, come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Somebody come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Soon as I get up off the ground, my burdens knock me right back down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Oh, off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Get them off of me, off of me. Come and break the chain. Come and break the chain. Get it off of me. Get it off of me. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody to get this burden. To get this burden. Can somebody take these burdens off of me?
Hey guys, good evening, good people. Hey. I wanted to give you guys some updates. We just recently got a motion submitted by the defense by Jennifer Bongine, and I wanted to bring the information to you guys. They're not joking. They're not joking because I don't think the government proved their point. So they're putting in a motion for an acquittal, y'all. An acquittal. An acquittal. All right, let me bring my readers on. Come on, ladies. Hello, ladies. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi. You guys want to need some of my assistance in getting this information out to the people? I am refreshed, reader. I relaxed. I made some fish. Oh, it was so good. I made some fish. And I've been drinking my water, y'all. Been drinking lots of water. Lots of agua. I drank that. I drank this. I'm trying to get my system flushed out because of all the Oh, thank you, Lady Gemini. Thank you. I'm just trying to get my system back to normal. Yeah, I can't wait till I get home. I'm ready to go home. Seriously, I'm ready. You know, it's good to visit a place, but after there's no place like home. Should I get on my glass slippers and click my heel 3 times? Yeah. No place like home. No place like home. Hey, okay, everybody. We're gonna get started with our reading. Okay, Dorothy. Yeah, this typically during trial, but the way this case is going, why not? Yeah, McCann, it does usually happen, but normally they usually wait, but they're doing it right before the defense even put on their witnesses, which is pretty good. And it's a motion 29 for acquittal. This is awesome. But here we go. Ladies, who's gonna start off with the reading for me?
I'll start.
Somebody call me. Somebody call you. Dorothy, you said somebody call you? Okay.
It's 3 of us. We'll just read 3 pages apiece.
Yeah, 3 pages apiece. We're going to start off with you since you open your mouth first.
Okay, girl. Okay. I don't need to go. Okay. United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, United States of America plaintiff versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, Darrell McDavid, and Milton Brown, also known as Jim Brown, defendants. With the Honorable Harry D. Lindweber, case number 19 CR 567. Motion for judgment of acquittal pursuant to Fed R. Crim P 29 paren A. Now comes the defendant, Robert S. Kelly, by and through his counsel, Jennifer Bojeen, and moves this court to enter a judgment of acquittal on each count of the 13-count indictment where the government's evidence was insufficient to sustain a conviction. On February 13, 2020, the government filed a superseding indictment charging the defendant with 4 counts of child exploitation of a child, conduct that allegedly occurred in 1998 or 1999, docket number 93. Specifically, the indictment accused the defendant of engaging in sexually explicit conduct with minor one for the purpose of producing 4 separate videos between 1998 and 1999, counts 1 through 4. Counts 6 through 8 of the indictment accused defendant of conspiring to and then receiving those same videos or copies thereof in 2001 and 2007 in violation of 2252A after the videos were allegedly taken from defendant. The superseding indictment further alleges that defendant committed 4 additional violations of 18 U.S.C. 2422 paren B. Specifically, the government contends the following. Between 1997 and September 2001, defendant did knowingly persuade, induce, entice, and coerce minor one, Jane, to engage in sexual activity that constituted aggravated criminal sexual abuse under Illinois law, count 9. In the summer of 1996, defendant did knowingly persuade, induce, entice, and coerce minor number 3, Nia, to engage in sexual activity that constituted aggravated criminal sexual abuse under Illinois law, count 10. Between 1999 and 2000, defendant did knowingly persuade, induce, entice, and coerce minor 4 to engage in sexual activity that constituted aggravated criminal sexual abuse under Illinois law, count 11. Between 1997 and 2001, defendant did knowingly persuade, induce, entice, and coerce minor 5, Pauline, to engage in sexual activity that constituted aggravated criminal sexual abuse under Illinois law, count 12. Between 1997 and 2000, defendant did knowingly persuade, induce, entice, and coerce minor 6, Brittany, to engage in sexual activity that constituted aggravated criminal sexual abuse under Illinois law, count 13. Argument. Rule 29, paren A, provides that after the government closes its evidence or after the close of all the evidence, the court on the defendant's motion must enter a judgment of acquittal of any offense for which the evidence is insufficient to sustain a conviction. Fed R. Crim, page 29, paren A. A. Counts 1 through 4 of the indictment, the child pornography accounts. A judgment of acquittal as to counts 1 through 4 of the indictment must be granted where the government's evidence was insufficient as to each and every element of the offense. First, government's evidence failed to demonstrate that the defendant did knowingly use, persuade, induce, entice, and coerce Jane to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing the visual depiction of such conduct. Not only was the government's evidence of inducement or enticement lacking, the government simply failed to show that the sexually explicitly conduct was for the purpose of producing the visual depiction. Second, the government failed to prove that defendant knew or had reasons to know that any of the videotapes would be transported in interstate or foreign commerce. In fact, the government failed to produce any evidence that the videotapes in question were transported in interstate or foreign commerce. The government offered into evidence 2 videotapes, one that was in the custody of the Cook County State's Attorney since 2002, GX001-1. Its origins are unknown. And the second videotape that was produced in 2019, GX002-1, there is no evidence that either of these tapes have ever left the state of Illinois. In fact, it is undisputed that the tapes are copies made by someone, but the government could not establish whether tapes were copied or by whom. The government simply did not prove that the tapes were transported in interstate or foreign commerce. To the extent the government contends that it is the images that were transported in interstate commerce, the government's evidence is still insufficient. Indeed, the government's evidence was entirely lacking on the question of how, if any, alleged tapes or images of the defendant and Jane engaged in sexually explicit conduct was transported in interstate commerce. And certainly, there was no evidence presented that defendant knew the videotapes or images would be placed in interstate commerce. The evidence is undisputed that defendant Kelly played no role whatsoever in placing the tapes or images into interstate commerce. Accordingly, the government's evidence is as to all child pornography accounts was insufficient. Specifically, as to count 4, the evidence is wholly insufficient where no tape exists to show what images were depicted on the tape. Without the tape, the government simply cannot show that it contained any contraband images. Government witness Keith Morrell testified. Okay, next.
Government witness Keith Morrell testified unequivocally that the tape he received from Lisa Van Allen consisted of a single scene of a threesome that did not appear to constitute child pornography. As Morrell testified, it looked like a regular threesome. The government's failure to produce this video, along with the testimony of Morrell, is fatal to the government's case on this count. This court should therefore enter judgments of acquittal on each and every child pornography count pursuant to Fed R. Crim P. 29A. B. Count 5 of the indictment, conspiracy to obstruct count. The government charged defendant Kelly with a violation of the general conspiracy statute set forth in 18 U.S.C. 371, which required them to prove the following. 1. An agreement to accomplish an illegal objective against the United States. 2. One or more overt acts in furtherance of the illegal purpose. And 3. The intent to commit the substantive offense. United States versus Jackson, 33F, 3D 866, 872. Here, the government charges that defendant Kelly conspired to violate 18 U.S.C. 1519, which provides in pertinent part, whoever knowingly alters, destroys, mutilates, conceals, covers up, falsies, or makes a false entry in any record, document, or tangible object with the intent to impede, obstruct, or influence the investigation or proper administration of any matter within the jurisdiction of any department of the agency of the United States or any case filed under Title 11, or in relation to or contemplation of any such matter or case, should be fined under this title, in prison not more than 20 years of both. To sustain a 1519 offense, the government must prove 1. The defendants knowingly falsified a record or document. 2. The defendants acted with the intent to impede, obstruct, or influence an actual or contemplated investigation. And 3. The investigation concerned a matter within the jurisdiction of the United States Department of Justice of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. United States versus Gonzalez. The government failed to prove the conspiracy to obstruct count, and a judgment of acquittal must be entered as to defendant Robert Kelly. First and foremost, the government failed to prove any evidence to show that an overt act occurred within the statute of limitations period. The government alleged in its superseding indictment several overt acts within the statute of limitations period, namely a payment from RSK Enterprises to defendant McDavid and a series of checks in 2014 and 2015 to Jane. The government did not show that any of this conduct was connected in any way, shape, or form to the alleged conspiracy to obstruct. Indeed, Jane herself denied that any payment she received from defendant, who became her longtime boyfriend and close friend until shortly before defendant's arrest, had anything to do with impeding or obstructing defendant Kelly's 2008 prosecution for child pornography or any contemplated federal investigation or prosecution. Both Jane and her mother denied any money that was directed their way from defendant Kelly amounted to so-called hush money or was provided with the object of falsifying or destroying objects. Furthermore, the government's evidence was woefully insufficient to demonstrate that defendant entered into any agreement to knowingly alter, destroy, maltate, conceal, cover up, falsify, or make a false entry in any record, document, or tangible object. For one thing, the government offered no evidence that any object covered within the scope of 18 U.S.C. 1519 was falsified, destroyed, or concealed. While the government may have offered evidence through Jane and her mother that they testified falsely before the grand jury, the false statements of these witnesses, all of whom testified that they had their own motivation for testifying falsely, does not satisfy the government's burden of providing the falsification of records or documents. Defendant Kelly adopts Defendant McDavid Rule 29A motion, which further elaborates on this argument. In fact, the government failed to present any evidence showing any act designed to influence false testimony from Jane or her mother. Both government witnesses testified consistently that they had independent reasons for testifying, as they had nothing to do with any threats, coercion, or influence on the part of the defendant. Separately, the government failed to establish that defendant Kelly entered into any agreement to obstruct or that his acts were carried out in contemplation of any federal investigation. Indeed, as applied to defendant Kelly, section 1519 is void for vagueness, since the record shows that defendant had no knowledge of any contemplated federal investigation when he allegedly committed the prohibited acts. The statute is unconstitutionally vague because it does not require a defendant to know of any ongoing or contemplated federal investigation when making a false entry. And in this specific case, defendant Kelly had no knowledge of any ongoing or contemplated federal investigation at any point. But most certainly in 2014 through 2019, when the government contends the final overt acts of the conspiracy occurred. In sum, for the reasons stated above and for those further articulated in defendant McDavid's Rule 29 motion, this court should enter an acquittal as to count 5 of the superseding indictment. C. Count 6 through 8 of the indictment, conspiracy to receive child pornography. The government failed to prove that defendant Kelly entered into an agreement with any other individual to receive child pornography, or that he in fact received child pornography as pled in counts 7 and 8 of the indictment. The government's evidence in its best light failed to show that defendants specifically sought to receive child pornography rather than any embarrassing sex tapes, such as a threesome video involving his ex-wife. Specifically, as to count 8, the government did not even show that the tape contained child pornography. Next.
Page 6, whoever's going to start next.
On what transcript?
Page
On
7.
The one I just sent you. It's not the transcript, it's the motion.
At the top of 6?
Page
Yeah.
7. Page 7.
Page 7.
Page
Page
7.
7. Sorry.
Okay, starting at E.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Counts 9 through 13 of the indictment, inducement counts. The government's evidence that the defendant did knowingly persuade, induce, entice, or coerce any individual to engage in sexual activity is insufficient as a matter of law as to counts 9 through 13. The government takes the position that simply because a sex act is unlawful because of the age of the complainant, it automatically allows that it has proved inducement. Such an interpretation renders the inducement language superfluous. The government's evidence showing that the defendant enticed or coerced the minor identified in counts 9 through 13 of the indictment is insufficient. The government also failed to prove that the defendant committed an inducement counts using the mail or any facility and means of interstate and foreign commerce. As to some of the complainants, the trial record is absent of any connection to interstate commerce, with the exception of Nia, who claimed the defendant arranged for her travel to Chicago. No complainant testified to any connection between the commission of the alleged criminal offense and the use of the facilities of the interstate and or foreign commerce. Finally, as to count 11, the government was insufficient to show a violation of 18 U.S.C. 2251A. Conclusion. For the foregoing reasons, this court should enter judgment of acquittal as to each of the counts of the superseding indictment. Jennifer Bon Jean, Law Group, PLLC. Respectfully submitted.
All right, guys. What do you think of what we
Great.
just read? What do you think? I need to hear some of you guys' opinion on this. You know, today I was gonna give you guys my take on this whole case, but with Jennifer putting what she put in there just now, it kind of solidified what I was thinking. Because if I was going through all the testimonies of everybody that has testified on the government side, I personally do not feel that their case have been proven, because every single one contradict the stories they said previously, and also the people they brought on the stand to like solidify their testimony. Like, for example, like today, right? They had that young lady, Mia, right? Mia talked about how she traveled to from Atlanta. She was age 15, right? First of all, she talked about her traveling alone, her going all the way to Minnesota without her mother knowing. Her mother worked as a nurse, and she flew all the way to Minnesota to get in a hotel. She had no ID. She claimed she had no ID. She was only 15, right? She's only 15 years old. She had no ID. She went to the airport, gave them a passcode, got a ticket. Nobody asked for any ID. Got on the plane, went to the hotel. Somebody stood there with her name on the thing. Got into a car, went to the hotel. Still no ID, right? Went into the hotel, went to the counter. They never asked for ID. They never asked for a credit card. They never asked for anything. The whole, the room, whatever. She gets the key. She goes upstairs, and supposedly Mr. Kelly kisses her and touches her, but no sex, y'all. No sex. And basically fondle her or whatever, and then leave. Jacked off and left, right? Her cousin, ex-cousin-in-law, comes and says that, okay, remember, she said that it was in 1990, what year was it? The year was different. She said 1996, the cousin said it was 1994, 1995. So their stories were not matching at all. She said that she moved. Okay, listen to this. She, while in school was out, she goes to Chicago. She goes on her own dime to Chicago, right? When she gets to Chicago, her cousin and her goes to visit Mr. Kelly. The reason why her cousin went, because her cousin was supposed to be like her bodyguard, or to make sure everything goes okay. She claims that Mr. Kelly called her out to the hallway twice, kissed her, touched her breast, and then came back, right? But then the cousin gets up there. The young lady said she went out there twice. The cousin went in there, said they were out there for 5 minutes, and she only went out there once. It was like so crazy. The stories were not linking up. And even Lisa Van Allen with Chuck, their stories did not match. None of it was matching. None of it. It was like, and then when they're caught in their lies, like they gave testimony like several years, like back in 2001, 2002, they saying, oh, they didn't say that. Oh, this person has that. It was so much inconsistency throughout the whole trial. There's no possible way you could tell anybody's telling the truth. Even the young lady that was on the tape, she said she lost her virginity at 15, but the tape, you can clearly hear the young lady that's in there saying that this is a 14-year-old private part and all this kind of stuff. And there was intercourse in the video. So what I don't understand, all this consistency, how can they get a guilty verdict? It can't be a guilty verdict whatsoever. I don't care what no one said. I don't care if they think. The law is the law. You have to prove the case, and it has not been proven, period. It has not been proven. Anybody guys chime in. Let me know how you feeling about this.
I agree with everything you said. The government, I don't even know how they figured this would fly. Maybe the New York trial, gave them a little hope. But the one thing I think they messed up on is this age range. Okay, I was 16 or 17, or it happened in between 1997 and 1999. You have to have concrete facts when you doing a case like this. This is someone's life. You can't estimate the time that you think something happened, and decrease the time or the age, because you want it to be in your favor. A lot of these people that we've seen through the transcripts, oh, I was 15 to 16, but then you say you went to a certain location or a certain concert, and that concert wasn't until 2 years later. So I think this is just embarrassing for the government.
Y'all not gonna like my opinion.
Go ahead.
But my opinion thus far is that although I think that there was holes in everyone's story, I think that that tape is still a problem, and they need to do more to let it be known and shown that it was modified. I do agree that Jane said she was 15, so that should be something that I hope stays in their mind, and that Bonjean, in the closing statements, she pushes that. But I think the video is going to be set in that jury's mind, and that's one of the charges, was making pornography. So that is the only issue. I think the conspiracy thing, the holes are totally in it. But I think that video is a problem.
Here's my question. Here's my question with the videotape. Where's the original tape? Because that's what the whole thing is. There was a tape that was signed by the what do you call it? The detective. Where is that tape?
And I agree with that too, because that would be the technicality. And I think that this video should have never made it to the point of being even shown in this trial, because it was not the original. And there was no.
We get somebody like a Michael Avenatti. bringing it to it.
And the other thing is, who's on the tape? You had the other girl testify that she thought it was her.
Yeah, one
It
girl said
signed
she
her
thought she was
name.
on the video. And remember, this girl had not watched this video at all. She went by still pictures.
Tracy?
No, the other one.
Nia,
Jane.
Pauline?
Jane.
Mm.
Well, we all agree there's a lot of holes in this case.
It definitely is.
No.
And you
So that
remember,
definitely
if it
shows
says
reasonable
without a
doubt.
reasonable doubt, there's so much doubt in everything. Even with the tape,
Yeah.
there is doubt.
That's
I don't know.
true.
Just as a juror, that like we are coming from a place of knowing all this stuff, so we've seen all those holes. We were like, this bitch
Yeah,
lying.
but you
She's
guys
lying.
in the testimonies that was given, the jurors heard the differences. They heard that there was that they didn't have that tape at the time, and this tape went this, but they could not put it together.
Yeah, I really think Jennifer and Bo, they did an excellent job highlighting the holes in this case.
Yeah, they
So
did
they
their
definitely
studying,
need to be
didn't they?
commended. They
They
definitely
definitely studied. They
Okay, and
definitely
also
studied.
remember they sent the production of the child pornography and all that kind of stuff, and producing it and sending it off and to interstate. It never left. Like Jennifer said, never left. He's not the one who sent it out the state. He never is the one.
Ooh, that
That
right there, that was dope. Because
Yeah.
in reality, the people who they gave immunity is the ones who took it across state lines.
Exactly. That's how it became a federal crime, because it went across state line. If it stayed in the state of Illinois, which is what he did, you can't charge him for going across state line. That's not a federal crime. He did not participate in a federal crime. Do you get what I'm saying by that?
I wonder what Lisa Van Allen's immunity deal was. Well, I wonder, does it have anything to do with state commerce?
What's the name does? What's your name?
Charles.
Because he got Missouri. He got Missouri, he got federal, and he got state.
Because
he
was smart.
He transferred it over to different states. So did Lisa. Lisa mailed it to Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Robert
to Atlanta.
Anywhere. He never ever did that.
Wait, did she mail it to Atlanta or did she mail it to Kansas?
She mailed it to Kansas. And then she took it from there to Atlanta. But she claims she only took one tape. But there's another tape. How did that tape get to Georgia?
I mean, and still they're saying they were all one tape that got chopped down. So all this chopping.
But it didn't prove it till Robert is the one doing the interstate commerce and sending it out and producing. And I mean, he might have made the tape, but that's for his personal use. He never put it on the internet.
I think the thing with him making the tape is still a problem. So we can't even, unless
the tape is not underage. They have not
that part.
They have not proved. They have not. See, they're using the whole word saying it's her. It's me. It's me. That's the only thing. They haven't verified. They didn't do any kind of forensics on it, because the tape is not a good tape to do a forensic on, because it's copies of a copy. Oh, Larry said you ain't no supporter.
I'm not. I'm very much a supporter, but I am realistic in what I'm seeing.
She has to think out the box, because you got to think what the other people are thinking now.
I'm very much a supporter, but I am putting myself in a place of being a juror who is not in the place that we are, and who haven't been seeing and researching the things that we have been researching. And so, yeah, that's my position. I think she needs to work harder on dismissing that tape.
But here's the thing, there is doubts. Regardless, there is doubt in that tape itself.
Especially when the tape itself had to be put on a DVD and not on a original tape.
Exactly.
Even if they had a copy tape, why did they have to put it on a DVD?
That's right.
Somebody said that in the chat, which is so good. Why did they have to put the
Chain of
original
custody
tape?
is extremely important too.
Yeah.
That's why I can't understand why it was ever let into this case. Because without knowing the chain of custody, it shouldn't have ever been allowed.
Because they're saying she can identify herself. She can authenticate it by saying it's her. But see, okay, how are you gonna believe somebody who got a immunity deal and she's been saying it for over 20, 30 years? It's not her. See, that's the problem that the government has too. You know that, right?
Oh yes.
She has that. They have that problem because you gave her all of these perks to tell a different story, that she's been hanging on that story for that amount of years. See, that's a problem.
And continued to be around him for all these years.
Yeah.
I'm praying that everybody there seen what we see.
Oh, they were writing it down. One thing they were doing, they were writing it down. They were writing it down. But I guarantee you now, there's not going to be a guilty verdict. I guarantee you that. That I could tell you, because if anything, it's going to be a hung jury.
Well, how amazing would that be that it's just an overall not guilty and they get to piss Chicago prosecution off one more time. And then we get to move forward with the appeal and dismiss all those other people.
But you know what, the good thing that I got out of all of this, that all those people who was extorting him, all those people who were saying that this man is this man is that, and you see these people sort this man out. They manipulated the system and got money from him. And there were people paying people behind the scene and him not knowing exactly what the heck was going on. That
I bet you they don't have immunity for. People should be able to go back and sue, like Lisa Van Allen. She knew she wasn't no minor.
Exactly.
They should be able to get their money. She lied. She's been lying. Her book sales, everything has been a big old lie.
Okay, I'm going to read some of you guys' statements in here because there's a lot of perspective. Could you start reading them for me? Help me.
The comment?
Yeah, comment, because there's some good stuff people saying in there.
Okay, I'm going to start from Gregory Roberts.
Where you
at? This is sneaky double jeopardy in the back door. This is the feds taking 2 bites at the same apple. Absolutely.
What time are you looking at? What's the time?
Gregory Roberts.
What's the timestamp?
Ooh, I don't see it. Hold on. I don't see the timestamps because I'm on a pop-out screen.
Okay. I don't see. I want you to get up there to a little bit more to the top because there's some people. Laura says Lisa probably stole more than one tape.
Let me see if I find Laura.
Tanya Coco said it's a lot of holes in this case. Holes, H-O-E.
Okay.
Not holes. Holes. Okay, I like that one.
Magdime. The problem with RFK testifying is that he won't remember females they start to mention. They will say another 1,000 names.
Read what Karen Harris says.
Go ahead, you read it.
She's no, R. Kelly does not need to testify. You don't put your client on the stand, and the burden of proof is not on you. And then Karen always also says something about that she does the forensic, and that it was not only does it have to be an authenticated copy, the integrity of the data must be intact.
Mhm.
So what do you guys think? This is more of a trial of emotion than of actual charges, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just his sex, just him having sex with, you know, just trying to, people that he had sex with. Just it's crazy. I don't
But
understand.
here's the problem I have with all this, the whole case. Everybody has something changing in their age. One saying they're older and they weren't. One saying that they're younger and they weren't. One saying they don't remember what age it was, possibly, and it's tricky, guys. It's tricky. It's nothing just straight out and say, okay, and then there's no police report. There's no parent making complaint. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that's missing in these supposedly cases. The only thing you have is people paying out, and Robert did not know these people were paying out.
Hmm. But also, what is the guy? What's his name? The one that Lisa sent the tape to in Kansas.
Um,
Oh, Keith Morrell.
Keith. Okay, and when they asked him, was there anything where he felt that he needed to call um, the police because obviously there wasn't any voices or this young girl saying this is my 14p, and now all of a sudden it's all this conversation on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure someone had to take notice of that because he was like, I just saw 3 people doing threesomes.
but they trying to say it was a different tape. That was not the one that he had. That's what they're trying to say.
With
And
nothing,
yeah, let's just be realistic. What
and that's confusing.
14-year-old, tell me, realistically, what 14-year-old say, here's my 14-year-old PUSSY.
You
Here's my
said one
14-year-old.
14-year-old. What 40-year-old says that? What
Exactly.
23-year-old says that? I'm never gonna say, come get this 27, this 40. No, none of that.
Yeah, and
None of
and
that.
especially with his concern about age, his concern because
Right.
he's asking people how old are they. So come on now.
Who in their right mind? But not even in your right mind. I just don't understand that.
And let's get into the amount of times that they said they allegedly slept with him. A
Oh my
hundred
God.
times, 83. So I mean, my goodness, when did he
200.
have time to make all these hits? When
But
did
the
he have
thing,
time to tour?
and people say, "Oh, he could do it." No, 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 no. That many women at that same around time frame, and no, 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 no.
And the kids
Exactly.
in the house,
17 years.
and he's
Yes.
doing music. Come on.
I
And
have
your
to
wife
ask the
is there.
question,
I've been
why?
married 17 years and I don't think we had sex that many times. Come on now. That's
Why
crazy.
are they not bringing in Drea is my question. Because all this is supposed to have happened under her roof, right, with her in the room. A little, or this Pauline girl could walk downstairs and the door's open and it's all good, but Drea, the woman of the house, has no idea. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Hey, DJ, what's going on?
Hey,
Hey,
DJ.
hey, give me that 50-year-old pussy. Give me that 50-year-old pussy.
Ah,
Fuck saying some shit like that, man. Give me that 50-year-old pussy. Back that 50-year-old ass up. Nah, for real. Nah, I just wanted to jump in for a minute, man. I really think that it's a smoke screen, man. I think Chicago case was a smoke screen for them to elevate a Fed case in New York just to get a conviction. Because if you really look at it, Michael Avenatti come with that tape shit again. Kim Fox come with the Chicago shit again. And they go all the way to fucking New York. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a conviction because that other dude, Asheville bullshit. It seems like this case really a slam dunk. But like I say, we gotta still be prayerful, man, because the government wicked. That's the way I just think. I just think they just use the Chicago shit to get a conviction in New York, to get a case in New York. I think the whole Chicago shit was just like a smoke screen. You know what I'm saying? Because they want this man just to be in jail, period.
Yeah.
I can agree. I feel like they totally just wanted him because they lost that first case. I also feel that there's something bigger happening, but
I agree. It is something bigger.
Definitely.
But what I like about this case, I'm gonna say I love the judge. I love this judge because he was so fair. He was letting them fight. You know what I'm saying?
He sure did.
He was like, he was like, okay, go ahead. And when it got too combative, that's when he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Other than that, he was not like trying to pro prosecution or pro defense. No, he was just let them like go at it. But I'll be the referee when it gets a little bit too much.
so we should go and Donnelly.
Well, none of them talking about, they were saying how they love him, but when none of them saying he said he loved them. Come on now, y'all. Did you hear it in there?
Well, I heard one of them say that.
One of them said it.
One out of all them? Come on now.
Well, that no, two said it. Two said it because remember she said he loved me, and that's
Yeah.
the one yesterday. How she was just saying,
They delusional, dog. I don't even.
Somebody made a good point. You know, all this shit was ignited by Avenatti and Kim Fox.
Yeah.
To even get to this extent. That's why I say I think the government already knew about the double jeopardy thing because it's really like a double jeopardy in Chicago. But they had to feed off of that again to get to the New York shit, which is the only way is to use, you know, ASRAT, you know what I'm saying, and other informing people to help get a conviction. They just want to convict the same like they did OJ, man. This shit just, we just gotta look through this shit. They use Chicago, they use Kim Fox. She the first one initiated all this. And people called in, this, that, and the other, they go to 1-800 number and all that shit. And then it went from there to New York. And everybody kept saying, if you beat New York, you got a chance at Chicago. But if you beat Chicago, you know, his peers will most likely go through for New York. Like I said, I just still think it was just a smoke screen, you know, for Chicago. So the government could try to get a case in New York. That's why everybody like, how the fuck you get a fucking case in New York?
You're cussing a lot, sir. This is a Christian channel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like, now it's like, okay, we need you curtail.
Behind a bleep bleep and a bleep and a bleep bleep bleep. And give me that 50-year-old bleep bleep. Anyway, well, at least everybody's laughing, man. At least we seeing the loopholes. And I said this years ago, man. I think this is just a once and for all. They can get off his back, and let's just keep praying, y'all. That, you know.
I believe God. Absolutely. I believe God has it this way to happen. Everything just just throw everything at him. Throw everything.
And then y'all can shut up and let the man live his life, right?
Yes, I agree with you.
He gonna make some money again. If you think he ain't gonna make no money, he gonna make some money. He can get back on his feet. So
I think that man could come out rich just by suing all of these slanders.
Yeah,
come out and go after Lifetime.
Yeah,
and the newspaper, like everybody.
But you know what? One thing I did see, y'all, the one of the news people just did a you know, an update of what, you know, the government resting, and I went into the chat itself. The conversation is totally different now.
Which one?
Different. Let's see what he was talking about, the defense rest, and it's like I think Channel 2, one of them. Then go into the chat, you see the amount of people just like it's like they opening, their eyes are opening.
Yeah,
better late than never.
Yeah,
Little Boosie shared that Lisa Van Allen lied about her age this whole time. So I was like, oh, That's somebody who's spreading, you know, the word again to a bigger platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all I got to say is I love Jennifer Bonjean. I love
Oh
her.
my God, she is
So
the bomb.
she can know that she is loved. You know what I'm saying? She care about her client. You know what I'm saying? She can see that this man did not do this stuff. She can see it. She can see the people that, you know, what they did to Mr. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? She can see it.
The bomb. She is the bomb, y'all. The bomb.
Yes.
She fought like an attorney. She fought like she really loved the work that
Like
she
a mother. Mother fighting for their child.
love the work that she do. That she is a fighter.
And you can tell she's not all about money. You
Nope.
know, she genuinely cares. So
That's the type of attorney we all need.
Oh yeah.
If ever we need an attorney, right?
Yeah. She's a fighter for justice, for
Yes.
truth and justice.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Case perspective. Somebody say, I disagree with perspective me. The jury can totally disregard the tape if they believe any of the witnesses are lying. If you lie in one part of testimony, the whole testimony can be fail. But this is something.
Trisha, I pray that is the case. I totally
have you ever been
completely
a
do.
juror before?
No, I haven't.
I have, and powerful. You've been a juror before, right? Where's she at? Well, she disappeared. Where'd she go? We look at a lot of different things and different angles as jurors. We're not one-sided or anything. We look at everything. And lying and credibility is the most important thing in testimonies. If a person lies, the credibility gets shot out the window. I'm just going to tell you that right now. As a juror.
Well, but we understand that, but we gotta understand we're in the new age now. You know, I mean, the credibility was shot in New York, and look what happened. You know,
remember those jurors was tainted. Those jurors was not real.
Yeah, they was tainted, and the judge was wicked, but it's still the government is still foul.
No, not this jury. I will not say that at all.
I'm talking about the government.
Independent thinkers. These jurors here are independent thinkers. I believe that.
Man, I'm praying. That's why I say we gotta keep these prayers, man. Just keep praying. I ain't gonna get excited till they reach that.
I'm excited because I'm believing with the report of God. I don't have it to see it there. I have faith.
Yeah, I'm praying, and I'm just being calm.
You can't pray and not believe now.
Yeah, I know, but you gotta still realize what we up against.
I believe and I'm praying. All I'm saying,
stronger. You're saying the government is stronger than what God said. If God placed it in your spirit, it's going to happen.
I'm saying
I ain't saying the
is
government is stronger than God. I believe God got the last say so overall. You know what I'm saying? But you still got those evildoers out there.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that the defense needs to attack this video a little bit more. That's my stance. Besides that, I'm team R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly, period.
Yeah, and they say, I heard somebody say they got it on a DVD and not a VHS.
It's on DVD, yep.
That's crazy. That should have been all just inadmissible right there.
Exactly.
That's why I say, man, the stuff they're allowing, man, is just, I ain't never heard of nothing like this in my life, man.
All this to take down one person. That's crazy.
Yeah, like this man and like get the whole army of people and trying to.
I mean, how many people testified that they gave immunity? They let all those people go of crime.
You know what?
One person.
That should tell the jurors something. If nothing else, all these criminals are getting away, so you want me to convict this person? Okay, come on now, makes sense.
And then when you look at like the world today, when you look at all these people that did all these bombings and going in theaters and killing all these people, man, and these people plead for insanity, and they be trying to get this stuff to these people. And this man ain't do nothing about their personal life intertwined with some women, and they are like, this man is
It's the worst, yeah. There's people killing folks, shooting them down, and all this kind of stuff, and they get 9 years, and this man get 30 years for crack for his sex life.
for a sex life, for his own sex life. Golly. And the
Yeah.
stuff the stuff they talking about and all that stuff is out on adult sites right now. So I mean, the stuff they talking about he doing or done or whatever, that shit is out on adult sites right now as we speak. I don't see them convicting none of them motherfuckers. Shit.
There you go.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me.
I'm gonna have to
Excuse
start
me.
charging you.
All right, let me get out because I know me. Some sides. Yeah, but they got all this stuff out there, but they want to paint this man because I honestly think it's more than beneath the surface. I think it's a numerous things. I think it's his masters. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep that. They feel if they get him convicted, they keep his master. He can't fight no more for this. It seems like the more they want to tear a black man down, they want to take all this energy, all this vitals and the strength. So he just won't fight for nothing. And I think that's what it is. So it's more than just R. Kelly and his sex tapes and stuff. It's the record labels. It's all that stuff. All that stuff.
And the government never expected him to be able to retain someone like Jennifer Bongine. They thought they had him crippled by stopping his money, freezing this account and freezing this, so they never expected that. So I'm just so happy that he was able to retain Jennifer and, look what she's done.
Yeah, I think his lawyers can overturn the
New York.
New York. Yeah. I just be saying to myself, I be thinking about the Don Alley to see if she really watching this unfold and saying to herself, did I make a mistake? Should I did this? Should I did that? This, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to question her legal analogy or something. I don't think this lady I think she just was racist. I'm just confused.
Lady
Well,
Earth.
like she said, she already had her mind made up.
Yeah.
She already
Lady
knew she was going to give him 30 years.
Lady Earth, Neo's from Atlanta. Go ahead. I'm sorry, y'all.
You said what, Sylvia?
I was answering her question. Lady Earth, Nia is from Atlanta.
Has anybody figured out who she is yet?
I already know who she is. Tabitha Blaylock.
Oh, that's funny. That name. That
Uh-huh.
name. Mm-hmm.
Sylvia, thank you for having me on. Y'all have a blessed night, man. Don't forget to
What have
keep
you
praying.
been doing? How's you been?
I'm just working, grinding, getting money. That's all. Counting my blessings. Fighting for my channel back, all that stuff. So I'm just
So you
being
lost your
patient.
channel?
Yeah, man. That dude struck me 3 times, man.
Wow.
Took Goofy Informant.
Oh. So what he want?
He struck because his name was in the motion. He did Bozo too. I think, he struck my channel because we was reading off the motions that the Bongine put out and his name was in the motion. So he thought that was a legitimacy for him to strike because his name, nigga, you part of the whole concept.
I'm saying,
yeah, and I don't know whatever he sent them, whatever he sent them. I don't know what he said. I guess he said, I don't know what he said. They never told me. They just struck my channel and told me which video it was, and it was the motion because I read the title of it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that dude, I guess he don't want people to know.
His name in the title? You had his name in the title?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you made a new page yet?
I've been got a new. I mean, I ain't got a new page. I got my Kevin Terrell page. Yeah. But I'm cool. I ain't tripping off YouTube, man. As long as I'm getting money, I ain't tripping. I'm good. I pop in, pop out. Y'all doing a great job. Kudos to y'all, man. So y'all doing a great job. Keep doing what y'all doing. I ain't tripping off no page.
But I'm ready to go home, DJ. I'm ready to go home.
You ready to go home?
Yeah.
Hey, for a minute, you about to move down there, ain't you?
I know, right? I'm ready to go home.
You might well go get you a 1 bedroom for like $550.
No thanks. I'm ready to go
Go
home.
get you my bedroom down there.
No, I'm going
Yeah,
home.
right. Yeah, but yeah. I say they threatening you and all that. You better not go to court, Sarah.
Who threatening me?
Oh, no, I thought you said somebody was threatening to fight you or do something to you or
Oh,
something.
that was earlier. But you remember let me tell you how God worked things out, right? What the devil meant for evil, God turned it for good. Because they called me, tell on me about with the video and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of my friendly personality, and I made friends with them now. So now they whenever I do something, say something on my thing, they come up and say, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" So I'm not worried about that person. I'm waiting for them to come back, because I even told they took a picture of me out there and sent it to somebody. So I'm waiting for them to come back. They haven't come back yet.
Yeah. Oh, Sylvia, I meant to tell you too. I think I'm gonna come down to Atlanta on the 14th. You go to court on the 14th on Bozo.
Oh
I think I'm
yeah,
at the come.
I got a couple of witnesses.
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna come down there on the 14th of September. Make a little grand entry just to show some moral support.
There you go.
See if my money can stretch that long. I think it can.
Definitely. I definitely need you for my case to be stronger. I need everybody I can to get me. Those who wants to be part of my witness group, please email me. Please email me. If you can
Yeah.
verify this, what happened to me, we'll discuss it behind the scene. Please email me, please. And I'll
I
add
think
you to my list. If you need a subpoena, let me know so I can get it for your job.
yeah, I mean, since she gonna blow everybody's head off and do all this other stuff. I mean, I can't see a person who be in denial about the stuff they do and they do it on social media, then they delete them and they think it's just supposed to be
Look,
gone. Like,
look, somebody said I need to change my name from infamous to famous Sylvia. That's what my mother calls me all the time, famous Sylvia. I kind of like infamous. It's kind of like gives me like that mysterious, but infamous is a bad word, isn't it? It is a bad word, isn't it, y'all?
infamous. Okay, well, let me get the bleep off this bleep bleep before I bleep and hit that 50-year-old bleep bleep. I'm gonna hit that 50-year-old bleep bleep from the bleep and dig
My
it bleep
goodness.
all up in your bleep. I'll talk to y'all later, man. Y'all be easy.
All
I'm
right,
out.
thanks, DJ.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. I'm muting Sony, throwing my TV out the door, my Walkman. They don't even do Walkman anymore, do they? Cassette tape, boombox, that's gone. No, keep the same. Okay, I'll keep the same name. Okay. Well, guys, it's been such a wonderful time. We're gonna go back to our reading our transcript. I'm just kind of like tired, y'all. You know how it is. At least I don't have to get up early in the morning tomorrow. I don't have to get up early in the morning. Huh?
Did you see that they granted the 4-day weekend?
I was in court, ma'am.
Oh, well, everyone earlier was saying that they hadn't granted it yet.
I said it did. They were arguing with me on my live, remember?
Oh, okay.
They were arguing with me and say, no, he didn't. I said, yes, he did. But people have selective hearing.
Yep, well, that part was granted. Yep, you're right. They were wrong. So that means only Thursday, Tuesday,
and then they finish Wednesday.
Yeah, because the court is closed Monday anyway.
I gotta give a shout out to One Cool P, y'all, and Nosy Rosie. They are the one who's been helping me to get to back where, trying to recoup my money. And I keep telling folks I need some money, but people like, oh no, she don't need no money. You know what? I have a bone to pick with y'all, but I won't say nothing. Y'all, all 451 of y'all in here. I got a bone to pick with y'all, but I ain't going. Now look, they jumping off now. It's 4:45. When you talk about money, folks be like, "Oh, I'm getting out of here." Hey. Thank you guys for all my new subscribers. My subscription went up 400 new folks. Yay!
All right. Woo!
Yeah.
400 new subscribers. Yes, we're reading tomorrow. We're reading the transcript tomorrow. I have up-to-date transcript, y'all. We're the only channel that has up-to-date transcript because we paid in advance. Okay? So,
Do you want to do the 20 pages of Tracy tonight?
y'all want to do it? Y'all want to do it?
Just so we're not that far behind?
Right. Might as well.
Ray said, I'm not messing with you, Sylvia. Thank you for all my new subscribers. Y'all want to do it? Come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Everybody get their
Yes,
pages.
I'm staying here. Koopy, I'm staying here until next week. I'll be here to the end, y'all.
Big B said he wished to give you, send you money, Sylvia.
Oh, Big B said,
Cash App up.
Said he wished to send you some money.
oh, let me put my cash app. Put the cash app up, y'all. Put the Zelle, the cash app, the everything. Put everything up there. Look who P said how much your room we should talk. Put the money, put the stuff up, y'all. I don't want to mess up my blessings. Put it up. I don't see. What's that?
Can one of y'all put it? I'm not on my phone to copy paste. Okay.
I put the Cash App up, put my Zelle, put my Venmo, put my PayPal, put everything. Put my Social Security number. I'm only kidding.
Who you give that to?
I'm just joking. I don't know. Put my blood type. What else?
Oh, Sylvia, he talking about he carry cash only. Lord have mercy.
Oh, Big B said I carry cash only.
Say, are you in Chicago, sir?
Thank you, Ray. Ray, I did get it. Thank you so much. She said she got to send Dottie some money too.
What you say, Sylvia?
That's what Cool Pete just said.
No.
Don't.
I'm behind, but I'm listening in the repeat bushes.
Who's in the repeat bushes?
One Koopy.
Koopy, why are you in the repeat bushes?
She just said she behind. Repeat. How is the prosecutor's faces looking?
They are looking mad. They upset. They come back and they're really upset. They're really like frustrated.
Prayers for your uncle, Koopy.
What happened to your uncle? My uncle had.
She says he had heart surgery.
Definitely, we're gonna pray for your uncle. You know.
She said she's still trying to break down all the wedding and stuff. What you got to break down? You did everything for the wedding?
Ooh.
Wow.
You guys got your pages?
No. Which page is it?
I think it's 2372.
She's gonna have to restart the live, right?
No.
Are you?
Do we want to restart? No, we only been in here an hour. What we'll do, because they do transcripts now on these things. Do y'all want to restart? I don't want to.
You already have a big crowd.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the crowd.
Yeah, don't restart.
I don't want to lose the crowd.
Okay,
right.
ma'am.
Okay, y'all. The transcript starts at 1 hour and 10 minutes, okay?
Put that in your description of your video.
Okay.
1 hour and what?
10 minutes. Starting
I'll put
11 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start.
Anything further? If not, you can step down. Court, call your next witness.
I don't remember who took over Peloso.
What page?
2372.
The government calls Greta Allen.
Please raise your right hand. Witness is duly sworn.
Yes, I do.
Ms. Pozzolo, you may question the witness.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please speak into the microphone and state and spell your name?
Greta Allen. Greta Allen. Allen.
Are you employed?
Yes, I am.
Can you get a little closer to the microphone? Thank you. Where are you employed?
Rich Township District 227.
What's your job title?
Registrar.
Can you describe your job duties as a registrar?
I am to complete education verification, enter grades in our system, and process data entry.
How long have you been the registrar at Rich Township?
3 years.
In the course of your employment, do you keep and maintain records related to Rich Township District 227?
Yes, I do.
I like to show the witness only what's been marked as Government Exhibit 318. Do you recognize Government Exhibit 318?
Yes.
What is the document?
It's a transcript for a student.
And is the student's name listed on there, Tracy?
Yes.
And we're only going to use Tracy's first name today, okay?
Yes.
And is the transcript for Tracy from one of the high schools in Rich Township?
Yes, it is.
And what high school is that?
Rich Central High School.
I'm sorry. Let me blow this up a little bit for you, okay? At the top of the transcript, what is listed for the high school?
I'm sorry. Rich East High School.
Was this record kept in the regular course of business activities in Rich Township?
Yes.
And is the information in this document prepared at or near the time that Tracy attended Rich East High School?
I'm sorry?
Was the information prepared at or near the time that this student attended Rich East High School?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move to admit Government Exhibit 318 and publish to the jury.
All right.
No objection.
It's admitted. You may publish.
Now, Miss Allen, at the top of the document, the student's name is listed as Tracy in Rich East High School, along with some other information, correct?
Correct.
Now, looking at the bottom, does it list the graduation date for the student Tracy?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Ooh. Yes, correct.
And what is the graduation date listed?
5/27/1999.
Now, there's also a withdrawal date for the student on this document. What date is listed as the withdrawal date?
8/18/1999.
So the withdrawal date listed comes later in time than the graduation date on this document, correct?
Correct.
And based on your experience working with the documents as your duty as a registrar, can you explain why the withdrawal date on the document would be after the graduation date?
It is somehow generated from the system that we use for transcripts. Miss O'Connell, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Somehow generated from, oh goodness. I'm kind of confused.
The system, the AS400 transcript system that is used to process transcripts. So is it your testimony then that the withdrawal date may not be accurate?
I'm not sure.
One moment, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Cross-examine.
Okay, what page are we on?
2376.
Line 4.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's Diane. Okay. Purple yeah.
Oh, you want me
Bongina?
to do her? Okay.
Yeah, she's on your team.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Diane O'Connell, and I represent Robert Kelly. I believe you said on direct that you've worked for Rich Township for about 3 years. Is that correct?
As a registrar, yes.
And you didn't work for the registrar's office between 1996 and 1999?
No.
So you have no firsthand knowledge of when Tracy graduated from high school. Is that correct?
No, that is correct.
And you're just basing your testimony on a transcript that the government just showed you.
Correct.
Correct. Could we pull that up again? The government exhibit. I forgot the number.
318.
318 redacted. They need to switch to our. Can we switch to? Okay, perfect.
That's not redacted. Sorry. It is redacted. Sorry.
It is.
A different version than ours.
That's okay. Okay. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about the transcript. But I also just wanted to finish up and say you don't know anything about, I believe you already said you don't know Tracy personally. Is that correct?
I do not.
And you don't know anything about what she did after high school?
I do not. No.
You don't know if she did any internships after she graduated?
No.
And you don't know anything about Mr. Kelly or any relationship he may have had or not?
No.
So based on the transcript, you concluded that Tracy graduated in 1999?
Yes.
Do you know who entered the date?
I do not.
Is it possible that the date was automatically generated?
Well, that's probably the graduation date, but I don't know who entered it.
So if Tracy began high school in 1996 and graduated in 1999, can you tell us how many years she was in high school at Rich Township?
It shows maybe 3 years.
And that would mean she graduated early, right?
It could have, yes.
Could you tell us what her GPA was in the school year of 1996 to 1997?
2.43590.
I'm looking where it says a cumulative GPA on the row of semester 1. Maybe we can close in on it. She did.
I see it. 1.889.
Wow.
So that's about a D grade point average, correct?
Correct.
And you can see, maybe you can tell us just looking at the next 2 years, what was her highest GPA for any school year at Rich East?
2.436.
So that's a C?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that they take the exhibit down. It is personal identifying information on it. If they could take it down, please.
Well, we need the birth date, at least the month and year. I mean, maybe we can just, isn't this the government's exhibit?
Our exhibit was redacted.
Do you want to put up yours? I need the birth date though, which is on the transcript.
Well, use the redacted version. That's the one that was entered.
Should we mark? Maybe we can mark our own and make sure it's properly redacted. Okay, Miss Allen, we're going to show you what has been marked as Defendant Kelly 119. This is the same transcript. Does it appear to be the same transcript you were just looking at?
Your Honor, it still has personal identifying information on the document. We ask that it be taken down.
Okay, why don't you tell us what it is you are looking at? Because we're not seeing it. Tell us what it is you want redacted. Okay, we'll redact that. That's fine. Okay, is that acceptable?
No. We have an extra exhibit if counsel would like to use ours.
Okay, we would like to know what it is you are objecting to. That is, okay, I think we've got it. So this is Defendant Kelly 119, and we are showing it to the witness. And this is the same transcript you were just looking at, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I believe we were discussing the fact that Tracy attended this school for 3 years based on the transcript, right?
Right.
Okay, which would be early if for most high school students it's a 4 year. It takes 4 years to finish high school, right?
Correct.
Okay, how many days was Tracy absent during this school year of 1999 to, I'm sorry, 1998 to 1999?
I'm looking for the dates here.
Maybe we can close in on it. Okay, perfect. Do you see that?
29 and a half.
29 and a half days, right? And would you agree there are about 20 days in a normal school month without holidays?
Yes.
So how many weeks in this? Would it be about 6 weeks?
Maybe 6.
About 6 weeks, right. So Tracy missed over 6 weeks of school, and she had a GPA around a D and a C, and I guess a D, a C the year she graduated early, right?
Yes.
That's a lot of days to miss. I'm just wondering, does that seem like a lot of days to miss for someone who is graduating early from high school?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know why Tracy graduated early from high school?
I do not.
Do you know if she actually graduated from high school?
I don't know.
Okay, nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Brindley, any questions?
I can't think of a single one, Judge.
Mm.
Miss
Miss
Judge,
Judge. Thank you, Judge, very quickly.
she can think of something.
Without giving the full date of birth on that report, can you give us the month and the year of the date of birth that you saw on Tracy's report or on her transcript?
I need to see it again.
I have to borrow the government's.
I've got it, Mary.
There we go. Do you see the date of birth on there?
Yes.
What is it?
August of 82.
82?
I believe that's 82. I can't see. I don't have my glasses.
Thank you. Now, can you see it better?
Yes.
Okay, can you confirm the date is August of 1992?
82.
Yes, it's 1982.
Yeah. That is Tracy's date of birth on her school transcripts.
Yes.
And when an individual registers for school, are they required to provide the school with the birth certificate?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further.
You can step down.
Your Honor, I just had one question.
All right.
Miss Allen, I just want to clarify one thing, and I'm pulling up the exhibit again. So, is it your testimony? I just want to make sure it's clear that when there is a graduation date listed on the transcripts your township provides, is your testimony that you don't know if that's accurate, if this document is accurate?
I'm not sure.
So there's a graduation date listed, but we're not sure if she graduated. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further.
All right. You can step down. Call your next witness.
The government calls Tracy.
Excuse me. Please stand and raise your right hand.
Yes.
Please be seated. You may question the witness. Remove your mask when you testify. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, make sure you sit nice and close to the microphone, please. And I'd like to start by having you state and spell your first name only.
Tracy. Tracy.
Okay. And make sure you keep your voice up so that the jury can hear you. How old are you, Tracy?
40.
And what month and year were you born?
August 1982.
Where did you grow up?
Chicago.
And where did you first start high school?
Proviso East.
And after that, did you attend a few different high schools?
Yes.
From which high school did you graduate?
Rich East.
When did you graduate from Rich East High School?
1999.
After high school, did you attend college?
Yes.
Where did you attend college?
Columbia College.
Is that in Chicago?
Yes.
Now, I'd like to talk to you about an individual named Robert Kelly. Do you know Robert Kelly?
Yes.
Is he known by any other names?
R. Kelly. Rob.
During the times that you interacted with Robert Kelly, what did you call him?
Daddy. R. Rob.
And what year did you first meet Robert Kelly?
1999.
Do you remember the time of year?
Yes. Spring, like spring, early summer.
How old were you at the time that you met Mr. Kelly?
16.
Who introduced you to Robert Kelly?
Kathy Carroll.
Who is Kathy Carroll?
She was my boss
Where was she your boss?
at Sony Epic Records.
What was your position at Sony Epic Records?
Kathy's intern.
When did you begin your internship with Kathy at Epic Records?
Early spring of 1999.
How did you obtain the internship with Kathy?
Through a family friend.
And why did you seek out an internship at Epic Records?
I wanted to work in the music industry.
At the time that you started as an intern for Miss Carroll at Epic, did Epic have an office?
Yes.
Where was the office located?
Rolling Meadows, Illinois.
Did you go through a formal interview process at Epic prior to being hired to work for Kathy Carroll?
No.
How would you describe the hiring process?
It was based on who you know.
When you started interning for Miss Carroll, did you fill out any paperwork for the Human Resources Department at Epic?
No.
And during your internship, were you paid for work that you did?
Yes.
How did you receive payment?
Cash.
Who paid you?
Kathy Carroll.
How often did Miss Carroll pay you?
Weekly.
And you stated those payments were in cash?
Yes.
So you didn't receive checks from Epic.
No.
What was your understanding of how Miss Carroll calculated how much to pay you?
It would just depend on whatever she would give me if we had to work really late.
Can you describe some of the things you were doing as an intern at Epic in 1999?
Yes. We would go out to dinners with artists. We would go to nightclubs. We would go to parties. We would take the artists around for promo tours.
From start to finish, about how long did your internship at Epic last?
It lasted up until maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. Probably more like a year and a half.
You stated it lasted a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Did you work for Kathy Carroll the entire time that you were at Epic?
Yes.
Other than Kathy, did you regularly interact with any other employees during your internship?
Yes.
Who did you interact with at work during your internship?
Jerome Kemp, as well as other employees in the office and some of Kathy's friends.
You mentioned Jerome Kemp. Who is Jerome Kemp?
He at the time was Columbia record rep
Was he an employee at Epic?
at Sony.
What was Jerome's title during the time frame that you were interning at Epic?
He was the Columbia Records representative for urban music.
Now, you testified earlier that while you were interning for Miss Carroll at Epic, she introduced you to Robert Kelly, correct?
Yes.
About how long after your internship began did the introduction take place?
That same day, maybe the next day, within 2 days.
Okay, and can you keep your voice up so everyone maybe pull the microphone a little closer? Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. She was introduced when?
I'll ask the question again. About how long after your internship began did the introduction to Robert Kelly take place?
I would say within a day or two of me working for Kathy
And where did you first meet Robert Kelly?
at Hoops.
And when you were first introduced to Robert Kelly at Hoops, did you know who he was?
Yeah, Kathy told me.
Why was your boss, Kathy, in touch with Robert Kelly?
She called him her brother.
If you saw Robert Kelly today, would you recognize him?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to have everyone in the courtroom remove their mask, please, so that the witness can look around and see if she identifies Robert Kelly in the courtroom.
We stipulate that everybody can identify Mr. Kelly in this courtroom.
All right, it's stipulated that she can identify Mr. Kelly.
Okay, I'd like to go back to the first time you met Robert Kelly at Hoops. What is Hoops?
A basketball gym?
Where is Hoops located?
Downtown Chicago.
How did you get to Hoops that day that you met Robert Kelly?
Kathy drove?
Did anyone accompany you and Kathy to Hoops that day?
No.
Prior to that date, had you ever been to Hoops before?
No.
And while you were at Hoops, did Kathy introduce you to Robert Kelly?
Yes.
Did you speak to Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
About how long were you at Hoops that day?
Until he got finished playing basketball?
Did you go anywhere after Hoops?
Yes.
Where did you go?
Chicago tracks.
How did you get to Chicago tracks?
Kathy drove.
And what is Chicago tracks?
Rob's recording studio.
Do you recall exactly or approximately where it's located?
Yeah, like not too far from Tribune Building. I think that is, but it's like it was on Larrabee.
Okay. I'd like to direct your attention to what has already been admitted into evidence as Government Exhibit 114A. Do you recognize Government Exhibit 114A?
Yes.
What is it?
That is the front of Chicago tracks.
I'm showing you what has been marked as a Government 114B and entered into evidence. Do you recognize Government Exhibit 114B?
Yes. Um, you would press the button to call the front desk to get let into the gate.
And are you referring to that gray box in the photo when you say you press the button?
Correct.
I'm showing you what has been marked as Government Exhibit 114C and admitted into evidence. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes.
What is it?
To the right of where it says tracks, you open that door to enter the building.
I'm showing you what has been marked as Government Exhibit 114L. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes.
And what is it?
One of the rooms in the studio.
And finally, showing you what has been marked as Government Exhibit 114P. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes.
What is it?
That is the in suite off of one of the rooms in the studio.
And what is the door in the exhibit to?
A restroom.
All right. So you were testifying about the time that you went to tracks with Kathy after being at Hoops. What happened after you arrived at the Chicago track studio?
Kathy had to leave out of the room, and Rob was he told me to get up to show me the controls. And he told me I could sit on his lap. And I told him no.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Can you describe where in the studio you were located when you were with Kathy and Robert?
Yeah, we were upstairs. We went upstairs to the bigger studio, and we were in the part where it was the control room, not where you recorded.
And what were you doing in that room?
At first, I was sitting on the couch, and Kathy was sitting in a chair next to Rob.
Other than you, Kathy, and Rob, was there anyone else hanging around in the room at the time?
Yeah, there were a few of Robert's employees.
And you stated that while you were in that room, there was a time that Kathy left the room. Is that right?
Correct.
Why did Kathy leave the room?
I think she had went to go get ice.
And after Kathy left the room, what happened?
Rob asked me, did I want to see like what he was doing? And he was explaining to me the controls on the soundboard. And he said I could sit on his lap. And I told him no. So then he told me to sit in the chair next to him. And he told me when Kathy comes back to say that I had to go to the bathroom because he had something he wanted to give me.
Did Kathy return to that studio room that you were in?
Yes.
And what happened when Kathy returned to the room?
Rob said, don't you have to go to the bathroom? And I said, no.
And what happened next?
We left.
And did you leave with Kathy?
Yes.
Where did you go?
Home.
After interacting with Robert Kelly at Chicago Tracks, did you attend the expo in Chicago?
Yes.
Approximately when was this expo?
Like early summer.
And that's the summer of 1999.
Correct.
Was Robert Kelly at the expo?
Yes.
What was the name of the expo, if you recall?
I cannot recall.
Do you recall where the expo was held?
I want to say it was McCormick Place.
It was held in Chicago.
Correct.
Who did you go to the expo with?
Kathy Carroll and my friend Kelly Witherspoon.
You stated that Robert Kelly was at the expo. What was Robert Kelly doing at the expo?
He was signing autographs.
Did you see Robert Kelly at the expo?
Yes.
And did you approach where he was located?
He approached us.
Can you walk us through what happened after he approached you?
Yes. Kathy gave him a hug and he said hello to me and Kathy and gave us both a hug. Kathy told me to introduce him to my friend Kelly, and I did. And Kathy said, tell him what I wanted because Kelly's cousin was a big fan of his and she wanted an autograph. So I told him I needed to get an autograph for my friend. And he said, okay, I'll do it later.
And at
Yeah.
that point in the conversation, did Mr. Kelly return to the booth where he was?
Yeah, he had went up momentarily to like do a radio intro or something. I'm not quite sure what it was.
Did you eventually get the autograph from Mr. Kelly at the expo?
Yes.
And when you got the autograph, can you describe what took place between you and Robert Kelly?
Well, my friend and I had got in line to get the autograph, and a lady was really excited to meet him, so she pushed us out of the way. And Rob yelled at her and told her to apologize. And then he asked me why we were standing in line for the autograph. And he's like, you know me. You don't have to stand in line. So he told us to come behind the table where it was safe. He had me wait for a bit, and then I told him I had to go. So he said, okay, well, I have something I want to give you. And so he's like, call me later. And he was like, he was writing his number on the autograph. And I informed him the autograph wasn't for me. So not to write his number on it. So he wrote his number on it, tore it off, and gave it to me, and then wrote the autograph for my friend. After getting the phone number and the autograph,
After
oops,
getting the phone number and autograph, did you leave the expo?
yes,
And how did you leave the expo?
my friend Kelly drove.
And before you left the expo, did anyone else learn that you had gotten the phone number from Robert Kelly?
Yes,
Who?
Kathy saw and a few other adults saw.
After you left the expo, where did you go?
Eventually, we went to Kelly's house.
And did you call the phone number that Robert Kelly gave you?
Yes, I did.
When did you call him?
Later that night,
And what telephone did you use to call that number?
Kelly's phone in her room.
When you called the phone number, did someone answer the phone?
Yes,
Who answered?
Rob.
And did you speak to Robert Kelly during that phone call?
Yes.
What did he say to you during the call?
I asked him what he wanted, and he said that he would tell me if I came to the studio. And I said, well, why can't you tell me now? And he said he was busy. He'll tell me when I get there. And he told me to hang up and to call back, and one of the employees would give me directions to the studio.
Did you agree to go to the studio?
I told him at first I didn't know if I could because it was really late, but Kelly talked her mom into letting us go.
How did you get to the studio that night?
Kelly drove.
Other than you and Kelly, did anyone else go with you?
No.
What happened when you and Kelly first arrived at Chicago Track Studio?
Well, we were buzzed into the gate, and once we went into the gate, we were met at the front desk by one of Rob's employees. And Robert walked past the desk and took us to the smaller room off the studio.
After you met up with Robert Kelly inside of the studio, what did you, Kelly, and Robert Kelly do?
Rob had his cousin take us into a smaller studio room, and he said he would be right back.
Did Robert Kelly return to the room?
Yes.
And what happened after he returned?
He made my friend move, and he made my friend move, and then we were sitting on a couch, and he's playing some of his albums, some of his songs he was working on. And a little bit like later, he was adjusting himself on the couch, and
With
he kept
you.
saying, "Huh?" Um, he was adjusting himself on the couch, and he kept saying that he couldn't hear me when I was talking. So he pulled me closer towards him.
After hanging out in that room, did you do anything else at Tracks that night?
Yeah, he told me to tell everyone I wanted to talk to him. So eventually, like a bit later, when I didn't say it, he said out loud, "Didn't you say we needed to talk?" And I was like, "No, he wants to talk to me. We'll be right back." And he took me upstairs to his office.
Did anybody else go with you to the office other than you and Robert Kelly?
No,
And you say this office was located upstairs at the studio?
yes,
Can you describe what the office looked like?
yes. So you walk in the room, and when you walk in the room, there is a futon right here. He had like his desk there and a small refrigerator. At that time, it had like a TV on it. Right here was a door, and that door led into another room. And the room that had like the en suite, then it was like just like the hallway down. I mean, sorry, the hallway door right here where you come in.
What happened after you entered the studio, entered the office room with Robert Kelly?
He was just talking to me, like asking me about my family, and he was warming up some food. He asked me, did I want any? He was asking some food in preparation for his photo shoot for his album. I'm sorry, he was eating some food for preparation for his photo shoot for his album. And after he got finished eating, we started talking. He asked me, did I know why I wanted him to come? Did I know why he wanted me to come? And I told him no. And then he said, well, I like you. And I was like, you know, I'm 16. And he was like, okay. And I was like, well, aren't you older than me? And he's like, how old do you think I am? And I told him a lot older. And he told me he was like 23.
After this conversation occurred, what happened next?
Eventually, we started making out. And then, in the midst of us making out, he was moaning and he kept trying to get me to touch him. And when I looked down, he had exposed himself. And then, when I tried to pull back, he told me to kiss his penis. And I told him I hadn't had sex before and no. And then I tried to pull back, but he had like a hold of my shirt and he was pleasuring himself.
Did he eventually stop touching himself?
When he finally came, he did.
And after that happened, what happened next?
Well, some of it was on me and some of it was on him. And he told me to get up and knock on the door that led to the other room, and I did. And he told me there was a bathroom and to walk in there and to get a towel. And I got the towel and I kind of like stood by the door and gave him the towel. And I was trying to leave out of the hallway door. And he told me, don't open it when he was like that. And he cleaned himself off. And then he was really apologetic when I guess he saw that I was a little upset. He said he was really sorry and he didn't mean to upset me. And he had never done something like that before. And he promised that that wasn't his usual behavior.
So after he apologized, did you leave the studio?
Well, yeah, we went downstairs to get my friend Kelly, and then Kelly and I left together.
Did you tell your friend Kelly about what had happened with Robert Kelly?
Yeah, when we got to the car,
And where did you and Kelly go after you left Chicago Tracks?
we went to her house.
Did you speak to Robert Kelly again that day?
Yeah,
When?
to let him know we got home okay. He told me to call him and let him know.
Okay. So after that incident that you just described, did you continue to keep in contact with Robert Kelly?
Yes,
And how did you communicate with him? And we're talking about the time frame of 1999.
mostly calling to the studio or his cell phone and seeing him in person.
When was the next time that you saw Robert Kelly in person after the night at Chicago Tracks?
The Westin Hotel,
About how much time passed between the night at Tracks and then when you saw him at the Westin Hotel?
not very long, maybe less than like a week and a half, maybe a week.
Prior to going to the Westin Hotel, did you have a conversation with Robert Kelly about meeting up there?
Yes.
And how did you communicate with him regarding meeting up at the Westin?
We spoke on the phone and he said he had planned something special for us. And it was us going to the Western Hotel because he said that we couldn't really go out in public because people knew who I was and that I worked for Kathy and people would recognize him.
And did you agree to meet Robert Kelly at the Westin Hotel?
Yes, I did.
And before heading to the Westin, did you make any other stops?
Yes.
And where did you go?
After we discussed it, I was supposed to get information from one of Rob's employees, and that employee told me to stop by Chicago Tracks to pick up a hotel room key.
And did you get that hotel room key from Chicago or from Chicago Tracks?
Yes,
Was anyone with you when you went to Chicago Tracks to get the key?
yes, Kelly Witherspoon.
After you picked up the key for the room, did you and Kelly Witherspoon drive to the hotel?
Yes,
Did Robert Kelly meet you at the Westin Hotel that night as you had planned?
he came early morning.
So about how long had you and Kelly Witherspoon been at the hotel before Robert Kelly arrived?
It was hours.
What happened when Mr. Kelly arrived?
He woke us up out of our sleep. He knocked on the door and then just opened it with the room key.
And what happened after he entered the room?
Kelly made a joke and she was like, well, it took you long enough. It's been more than an hour or something. And he started laughing and he apologized. And then he pulled some money out and told her to go downstairs and go get breakfast. And he told her to get the vanilla waffles because they were his favorite.
And what happened after Kelly left the room to get food?
When she left, Rob started, oh, he told me to put the privacy sign on the door. And then he started to unbuckle his pants. And then he told me to take off the bathrobe that I had on. And then he yelled at me because I wasn't naked under the bathrobe like he told me to be.
Did you have any sexual contact with Mr. Kelly that day in the hotel room?
Yes.
And I need you to be specific and describe what happened.
After he yelled at me, he told me to walk over by the bathroom door. And when I turned back around, he was in the bed. He told me to take off my clothes, and I told him I didn't want to have sex. And he said, "Take off your clothes now." I didn't say we were having sex. And so I took off my clothes, and he told me to walk to the bed like I was on a runway and to walk towards him. And I did. And then he told me to get in the bed, and we started kissing, and then he began to give me oral sex. And
When you say oral sex, can you describe what he was doing to you?
his mouth was on my vagina giving me oral sex. And then when I climaxed, I apologized because I never had any type of sexual contact with anyone. So I didn't know if it was okay. And he started laughing. And he told me that that's what I was supposed to do and that I tasted good. And had I ever tasted myself before? And then he tried to make me put my hand in my vagina. And then he pushed my finger in my mouth. And then he told me it was his turn. And he sat with his back against the headboard. And he told me to come here. And I gave him a kiss like he told me to. And then he pushed my head into his penis and told me how to give him oral sex. He told me not to use any teeth and to suck his penis.
And did you do that?
Yeah, he had his hand on the back of my neck. And when I tried to pull away, he told me I better not spit out.
After that sexual contact was over, what happened next?
I asked him, could I go to the bathroom? And he told me to hurry up and he better not hear spitting. And I hurry up and I came back and then we started making out again. And then he said to let him just see how I felt inside. And I told him I didn't want to have sex, but he had forced himself in me. But then when I asked him to stop, he did stop.
After this sexual contact was over, did you leave the hotel room?
Yes.
Is this a good time to break then? Yes. We'll break until 2 o'clock for lunch. And that's it.
Okay, that's it until her cross.
Wake up, everybody.
Sorry, y'all know they said she was real low.
That sounds very boring.
Well,
Hey, she
It
was
was
very
quite
Oh my
interesting,
God.
they said she was low and meek, so I was trying to be low and meek.
I know, but she sound like so like blah.
but it was.
So if she's 40 now,
I can speed it up, but I was trying to play the part.
No, you do
Yeah.
sound like her. You did sound
Yeah, you did.
exactly like her now. You did. But I'm just saying, oh, it was boring.
so if she's 40 now,
The stuff she was saying.
1999, she would have been 19.
I'm a big old freak. I was
Yeah.
like, he did. Look, he a bit.
Yeah.
I'm a big old freak. I'm like, he did what? He said, huh?
Yeah.
Ah!
Okay. Say what? Say huh? What? Huh?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway, good people, I'm about to get off because I am going to sleep.
I know that's right.
Y'all know me. I am going to bed. All right, guys.
Yes,
Guys,
sir.
have a wonderful. Tomorrow we're going to continue with the rest of the transcript. We're going to catch up, and by the time Friday roll around, we'll be finished. We'll be caught up.
All
And then
right.
the weekend
Okay.
we're going to quit.
We didn't even get to talk about our bad GPAs. Dang.
Okay.
Right.
That was jacked up.
How she gonna graduate early with a 1 point something?
Okay, she didn't graduate. She must have went and got her GED.
She must have took.
She had to do a GED, y'all. There's no way. You've been out of school, missing 20-something days out of school, and then you
had a low GPA.
Yeah. Hey, Life for Sin.
And missed 6 weeks of school. That's a lot of school. Why wasn't she truant?
Yeah, that's true.
And where was your
my new
mama at?
subscribers, y'all? We got a whole bunch of new people in here. Hey.
Hey, new
people.
Welcome, people. Big B, they said 1.4 something and then 2.4. She had 2 GPAs.
Yeah.
She had a D and a C.
Wow, unbelievable.
Where were the parents?
Exactly.
How was she missing 6 weeks of school in a school year?
Exactly.
That's a lot of school.
And this was before she met Rob, so she wasn't hanging with him.
That's right.
And Sweet One brought out a good point where she stated that she did an internship in the summer, but yes, she said she went to the spring thing.
She was lying.
And so the spring thing would have been in 2000 instead of
1999.
Exactly.
The next year.
Yep, Sweet One brought that out.
Good point, Sweet One.
Hey, all right, guys. I'm going to bed. Good night, darlings.
All right, bye.
Shout out to
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.